January 1980 saw 15,000 Grimsby Town fans descend on Anfield for an FA Cup tie. Only trouble was, the away end was full, so some have to make the dreaded journey into home fans' territory, the Kop. Here's the stories. First, we have Grimsby Town stalwart Ken, who told us, "I was 18, wrapped in my dad's old black and white scarf, when I first saw the great Anfield gates loom through the drizzle. We'd left Grimsby at dawn, half the town it seemed, a convoy of buses and battered cars rolling down the A1 with fog on the windscreen and hope in our hearts. Liverpool, the kings of Europe, and us, top of the third division. It felt like walking into a dream, one that smelled of diesel, chips and damp wool. By the time we reached the turnstiles, the dream had turned to a nightmare. The queue snaked half a mile down the street, lads singing, old blokes smoking, a few wide-eyed kids gripping their dad's hands. Mounted police were already pacing up and down, snorting horses and scowling coppers, barking orders none of us could hear. Someone shouted we were going in the Anfield road end, but the gates there slammed shut just after 2:30. Then came the word that still makes my stomach turn. You're going in the Kop. The Kop, Liverpool's fortress, their holy ground, and now apparently ours too. We were herded round like cattle, pushed by horses' flanks and gloved hands. I lost my mate Kev in the crush. By the time I stumbled through the turnstile, it was nearly kick-off, and I was alone, breathless, scarf half hanging off, surrounded by a sea of red. The sound hit me first, a low, thunderous roar that shook the metal under my feet. I'd been to big games before, but this was different. This was biblical. For a while, the locals ignored us. Then one of ours, brave or stupid, started up "Mariners, Mariners," and the mood shifted. A ripple of heads turned, then a wall of scowls. One scouser beside me leaned in close, stinking of beer. "You lot picked the wrong end, son." Before I could answer, his mate started laughing. "Nah, leave 'em. They've brought the smell of Grimsby with 'em." It might have stayed just nasty banter, but then Liverpool scored early. I think it was Dalglish, and the place exploded. Fists in the air, bodies flying, beer raining down. I tried to clap politely, keep my head down, but a few around me didn't. One Grimsby lad near the back sang out, "Come on, town," and vanished under a tangle of red-scarved fists. Then the Scousers surrounded us and tried to push us down and out the exits, but we managed to repel them. All the while, boots and fists flying. The police moved in again. That shut us up. Half an hour in, and it was already 3-0. The Kop got bored. Then came the chants. Phil Seal, clap, 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 pause. Jimmy Place, Jimmy Place, Jimmy Place. Even some of us couldn't help laughing. It was so daft, so scouse. The whole stand was shaking with laughter. They started riffing like some mad comedy sketch. Kenny Dogfish, Suey's the Walrus. I remember thinking only Liverpool could humiliate you 5-0 and make you laugh while they did it. At half-time I queued for the toilets, keeping my scarf hidden under my coat. A gang of red and white scarves barged through, one shouting, "Any fish here then?" Someone got shoved against the wall. A kid no older than 12 started crying. I slipped out quick and stood near the barrier for the second half, pretending to be neutral. The match was a blur after that. Rush, McDermott, Kennedy. The names rolled together like thunderclaps. 5-0. We'd been battered, on the pitch and off it. When the whistle went, I thought it was over. But Anfield in 1980 didn't do mercy. The exits were chaos. Police pushing us one way, locals the other. I'd barely reached the street when 3 Scousers cornered me by a chip van. "Brave little trawlerman, eh?" one said, flashing a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Another flicked open a knife, the blade glinting dull silver in the streetlight. "Got any haddock for us, lad?" I couldn't speak. My throat went dry. The first one pressed the blade near my neck. Not hard, just enough. Say you're brave again." Before I could, the third one laughed. "He's just a kid. Leave him." They stepped back, and I ran. Didn't even look for Kev. Just ran through the mist, past the police vans, past fights breaking out in side streets. Somewhere near the car park, I heard sirens and someone shout, "Everton!" like another battle starting. When I finally found the car, the others were gone. Just an empty crisp packet and the radio crackling out the football scores. I sat there shaking, staring at the rain on the windscreen, listening to a commentator talk about Liverpool's brilliance. Kings of Europe, he called them. Maybe they were, but they'd shown me another side that day. The cold, cruel one that laughed while it kicked. On the drive home, I kept replaying the chants, those daft fish names echoing in my head. Kenny Dogfish, Suey's the Walrus. It was funny and terrifying all at once, like some surreal dream you wake up sweating from. By the time we hit the Humber Bridge, the laughter had turned to silence. I never wore that scarf again. Looking back now, I can't help but smile at the madness of it. Little Grimsby at mighty Anfield, thinking we might make a game of it. We were proud, naive, and out of our depth, fish out of water quite literally. But for all the fear and the bruises, I wouldn't trade it. That was football in the 80s. Raw, unpredictable, sometimes beautiful, often brutal. And for one day in January 1980, I was there, standing on the cop, swallowed by the roar, tasting both the glory and the grime of the game I loved. Liverpool fan Trevor told us. It was a grey January Saturday in 1980, and Anfield smelt of beer, wet concrete, and glory. We were kings of Europe, league leaders again, and Grimsby Town, top of the third division, bless 'em, were the latest dreamers to come knocking. FA Cup third round. Easy. I was 19, a season ticket lad on the cop with our crew. Jono, Big Les, and Say. We'd met outside the Arkles for a few pre-match pints, laughing about the invasion from the seaside. The Echo had said thousands of them were coming. We joked they'd be bringing haddock banners and nets instead of scarves. But when we got to the ground, it wasn't funny anymore. Outside the Anfield road end was chaos. Thousands of them queuing, pushing, singing. A white and black wave that looked more like a cup final than a third-round mismatch. Mounted coppers everywhere, shouting and waving batons. We heard they'd shut the away end, said it was full, and were sending the rest into the cop. "Into our end?" said Les, frowning. "That's asking for trouble." He was right. By 2:30, the cop was rammed, a red sea with strange black and white patches dotted about. You could tell the Grimsby lads, wide-eyed, nervous, scarves held tight. Most of them looked like they'd never seen a stand this size. We gave a few half-hearted jibes at first, "You'll never smell alone," but when one of them dared to chant, "Mariners, Mariners," it all turned. "Who the fuck's singing?" someone barked, and a few fists went up. One poor kid near us got a pint tipped over his head. He laughed at first, then saw the faces around him. The laughter stopped. Liverpool went one up early, Dalglish doing what Dalglish did best. The cop erupted, red scarves whirling like fire. A few Grimsby fans cheered sarcastically. Brave or stupid, you decide. A scuffle broke out 2 rows down and stewards just shrugged. The police didn't come near. Then, when the goals kept coming and the game got dull, someone started it, the chant that would go down in folklore. "Phil Seal, clap, clap, clap." 10 seconds later, "Jimmy Place, Jimmy Place, Jimmy Place." The whole cop roared. It spread like wildfire. "Kenny Dogfish, Suey's the Walrus, Phil Sturgeon." Even we were crying, laughing, clutching each other as the terrace bounced. The poor Grimsby lads looked mortified, surrounded by 30,000 singing about their fishing industry. But laughter can turn sharp quick. Near the corner of the cop, a few older Scousers had cornered a group of black and white scarves. There was shouting, pushing. One Grimsby lad swung a punch. Daft move. Next thing, he was on the floor. Boots went in. Someone yelled, "Leave it!" But nobody listened. The police finally appeared. dragged him away half-conscious. The match finished 5-0, but no one was talking about football when we spilled into the streets. The air felt electric, dangerous. The pubs were rammed, and word was going round. Grimsby fans were still in town, hundreds of them, some heading for the station, others just lost. To some of our lot, that sounded like sport. Jono nudged me. "Come on, there's some up by Walton Breck." I hesitated. I'd had enough, really, but followed anyway. That's what you did. We turned down a side street off Anfield Road. It was half dark, puddles reflecting the orange streetlights. You could hear shouts echoing, "Get back here!" and the sound of running feet. We turned a corner and saw it. Half a dozen Grimsby lads legging it, another dozen locals chasing. Someone threw a bottle. It smashed on the cobbles, spraying glass. One of the visitors tripped. Skinny lad, couldn't have been older than 16. 3 scousers caught him. "Still brave, are ya?" one snarled, pressing him against a wall. I saw something flash. A blade, small but real. The kid froze, eyes wide. "Say you love Liverpool," the fella said. I do," he stammered. "Good lad." They let him run, laughing, as he stumbled off crying. That was enough for me. I felt sick. I'd grown up on the cop, singing my heart out, thinking the violence was part of the show, the price of passion. But seeing that lad cornered under a broken streetlight, knife shaking in his face, it wasn't football anymore. It was madness. Back at the Arkles, the mood was all bravado, stories flying, who'd run who'd shown the fish their place. I sat there quiet, pint untouched, hearing the faint sirens still wailing outside. Les was grinning, his knuckles grazed. "Proper cup tie, that," he said. "Taught 'em what it's like up here." I nodded, but inside I wasn't sure anymore. Liverpool had battered them on the pitch and off it. We'd sung, we'd laughed, we'd scared kids half to death, and somehow it was being celebrated as just another Saturday. As I walked home, the fog rolled in off the river, thick and cold. Down by the old brick terraces, I passed a pile of torn scarves and a single shoe, lying in the gutter like something left behind from a battle. The streets were almost empty now, just the hum of traffic and the odd echo of laughter. That night, lying in bed, I thought about that kid's face, the way he froze when the knife came out. I wondered if he'd ever come back to a big ground again. I wondered what we'd become. Liverpool were unstoppable that year, a machine. But on that damp January afternoon, with the fish chants echoing and fists flying, I saw the dark heart behind the glory, the pride, the cruelty, the mob, and I never quite sang the same again. We thank Ken and Trevor for their recollections. It's clear that Grimsby had a massive following for this epic cup tie. I've heard some Grimsby Town hit squad members say that they weren't herded into the Kop, but tried to actually take it, but it seems a bit far-fetched to me. I think they were probably herded into the Kop, as the story states. But interesting debate, don't you think? Would anybody be stupid enough to try and take the Kop? I think a few of the bigger firms tried but failed. Check out some of our other videos on the subject.
Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe, as it really helps our channel grow to give you bigger, better content. Until the next video, bye for now.